better, quite a lot better than I have been in the past maybe couple weeks or so. So let's talk about it a little bit. I'm realizing that I don't like having a sense of job insecurity. I do not like that feeling. I don't think anybody likes it, but I really don't like it. It was really weighing on my anxiety and everything else. But I think I've come to terms with it, seeing how many people have been let go and people are quitting and things. Just basically seeing kind of what's going on with people. It's almost made the position I have a little bit more secure, potentially, unless I make certain types of mistakes. But they're going to be super short-staffed, and they're trying to fill positions. One position is almost filled. Somebody has to take their test next week, and then like Friday, and then they'll be fully trained and official if everything passes, and I hope they'll do well, and I think they'll do good. I don't really know. And then there's another person who on a different shift is the only one working that shift. And so I don't know, like, they're saying that each shift needs to have 3 of us, and that's not the case yet. So they're about 3 people short so far. I think there are going to be like some days where there's like 2 of us, and then some other days where there's going to be 2 of us. Like, I don't think I'm going to have a solo day anymore. My work partner won't have a solo day anymore. And then so there's always going to be 2 or 3 of us on our shift, which is still low. And then the other shift is only going to have 1 person so far, and they need like 2 more people. So but we're getting more recognition because we're banging it out and had some rough days and some letdowns, and it's kind of hard to want to really be loyal to a company that's like letting your friends go. And I guess it's just like official policies, and I heard that a lot of it's not even it's not our direct site that has the power. But let me talk about kind of what has helped me. Now, I'm not going to say that this method is for everybody and that it helps everybody and that I've always used it and that it's always helped me. But like I've explained in the past maybe couple episodes, I don't even know if I posted them. I think I did explain this, that I what am I trying to say? Excuse me. Still got this cough. Woke up at like 7:30 and was coughing. Did my weigh-in today. It was fine. It wasn't as low as last week, but last week I had a cold and was like hardly eating anything. But it was still less than the week before that, so I'm fine with it. I don't know if I'm really trying to lose weight anymore. I'm about 12 pounds away from my goal. I was kind of like almost like staying at this 10 pounds heavier than what I am now before I started this job and started doing the walking 4,000 to 6,000 steps a day pretty much at this job. And like I mentioned before, I'm not really working out, to be honest. Ever since that second 75 hard ended, I haven't really been working out. I'm probably underhydrating, and it's hard for me to keep track of some certain stuff, like my meals and stuff. Like today I had like a little bit of protein shake early, and then I ate, I ate some of those Sprouts spinach raviolis. They come in a little plastic package that I put them in the microwave in some water, but I think you're supposed to heat them stovetop. Pretty sure you're supposed to heat them stovetop. They didn't really taste like they normally do, but I was trying to save some time. Because I had to prepare them, and then I heated up some chicken and put some sauce on, some marinara sauce. It was like a garlic sauce, Sprouts brand, garlic pasta sauce. I don't know, is pasta sauce and marinara sauce the same thing? So basically, yeah, that's kind of like the basics. Been trying to sleep okay. Not sure if I'm sleeping that great, but been trying to sleep okay. Probably could have slept in another hour today, but decided instead to get up and work on some stuff. So I can tell when I'm feeling okay, when the creative juices are flowing a little bit better. So yeah, I wanted to talk about just basically, I've been reading that book. If anybody wants to know the name of it, it's by the founder of Chabad, Tanya. No, maybe the other guy is the founder, Chofetz Chaim. I don't remember. But basically, Tanya, Tanya. It's spelled like the lady's name. It's. I don't think it has anything to do with that meaning of that name. I think it stands for something, but I don't really remember. And it's called Likutei Amarim. That's not really the correct pronunciation, but it's like Likkutei as one word, and then Amarim as the second word. I don't really remember what that means, but it's I'm on, I guess, Tevet 10 or Tevet 11. I've just been doing like a page a day, just like 2 columns, even if it doesn't like end, like basically the next page I just go to the end of the sentence, and that's basically it. So it's kind of talking about this conversation about like behavior and thoughts and like what makes somebody like a good person, and it started talking about righteousness, and I was kind of just like, oh boy, here we go. But I'm taking from it kind of the positive notes that I can apply to myself. I'm not really letting things get to me, but it was basically saying that there's like a superior righteous type of person who doesn't really like the other side, and then there's like someone who kind of dabbles in it, but either type of person, you know, because the person who slightly dabbles, you know, is not doing that much harm really, that both sides, you know, their deeds can be turned into something, you know, positive. It still can convert to positivity, but it, you know, it goes into like different types of like forbidden things. Like I don't know. Like I'm not really into people telling me what I should, or some ancient book that's telling me that I should or shouldn't do this or do that. I feel like that's an individual personal decision to decide and learn and realize based on your own values and based on your own just your own personal way of walking through the world, what is actually right or wrong for you. Now, there are kind of probably some universal things where it's like, you know, if you're stepping on somebody's toes, if you are, you know, doing harm to others, if you're doing harm to yourself, spiritually, physically, emotionally, it's probably not a good idea. But then also everything in moderation. So, you know, there are some people who take the stance of like abstinence from everything that could potentially lead to addiction or could potentially lead to, you know, liver damage or lung damage. Like if I'm talking about like smoking or drinking, you know, there are some people who would be like, never smoke, never drink, never do this, never do that. And then there are other people who are like, yeah, if you can like moderate and not get too caught up in it. And there's people who just kind of like live, you know, just they do get stuck in an addiction. It is kind of risky and kind of slippery slope type. But I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or not do or what to read and not read. And I obviously don't have it all figured out, but I can say that it's helped me, especially when I was thinking about, you know, a tantrum boss that was just kind of really having at it and just out of control. Talking to a friend really helped last week because they kind of put things into perspective that like, yes, this person has issues and stay away from them. You know, talking to other staff who are just like, stay away from this person, you know, don't be around them. You know, anytime you get the opportunity, like don't initiate conversation, you know, but it's like this person is going to be bringing negative vibes on themselves just because they're treating people harmfully. You know, and parts of this book kind of helped me realize, I'm like, okay, this person definitely is not right. They're not doing the right thing, you know, and I'm not going to let that affect me. I'm not going to let somebody who clearly doesn't have it figured out and, you know, isn't a good leader, and nobody really trusts this person, and they've got a bad reputation. Like, why would I try to learn from this person? All I can learn is don't do that. Don't try to not let that kind of person, you know, interfere with my own gains and my own goals in life, which, you know, it was interfering with me. So I'll see. Like, that person was there yesterday. I didn't really think that they were working yesterday, but they were there, and they said hi to me when they were walking into the door that I was standing next to. And I just said hi, how's it going, kind of thing. But yeah, I did say hi, and I was like, fine. That's the only time we talked, and they kind of just stayed to themselves. I saw them like 2 other times in passing. They don't seem well. They're kind of like, don't walk with like pep in their step. They don't smile. They don't seem to really, I don't know, like, part of me just feels sad because I'm like, I can tell this person's going through it. But I'm protecting myself. I've got to protect my own mental health. I've got to protect my own situations from such people, from such, you know, I don't want to be in like a negative environment, and I don't want to be, I got my own things to tend to, you know, every day, to where I need to kind of look out for number one, you know. I gotta look out for myself. Nobody else is gonna do that for me. But I really do gotta look out for myself. You know, I can't be waiting on other people to kind of reprimand somebody or anything like that. I've got to stay strong in my own mental space to be able to combat all of the negative that's kind of trying to drag me down. Like, whenever something good is going on, there's going to be that negative kind of counterattack. You know, nothing is going to stay like perfect forever, but sometimes it can be a mindset kind of game, you know. It's like, it's not a pleasant game, it's not a fun game, but sometimes, you know, if you can control your mindset around it. I'm not saying like make excuses for people or just like say that they're right. Maybe don't go into Veronica mode from those little like animations, where she's like making a scene and like, you know, taking it maybe an extra step too far. But yeah, I've talked about this before, and I'll never forget it. You know, I had a rabbi friend who, you know, he was talking, in one of his talks once, he was saying, like, you know, certain types of people, you know, they're like an infection, you know, and it's true. It's like certain types of people, they're so bad with how they are that everything they do affects everybody else. And you can see that spread. It's like, you see it kind of like spread around. It's like, you know, they're totally like an infection, you know, like this person is like an infection on this work site. Like, they're not bringing positivity, but, you know, I want to bring some of that. You know, I want to bring some good energy. Like, I think a lot of us have that same mindset. There's a lot of jokey people who like to joke around, and like we got all these stupid little inside jokes about all kinds of like weird nonsense. Sometimes we're all just like riffing off of each other about like dumb things and just like cracking each other up and just trying to make it fun, you know? Like, it doesn't need to be like everybody's stressed. Like, of course we're gonna get stressed, but it's like, you know, we can bond over it. We can kind of build from it. It doesn't have to be some kind of like problem all the time. There doesn't have to be like issues all the time. You know, work doesn't have to be a negative place where you spend 8.5, 9 hours of your day with people, you know, where everybody hates each other. Like, it doesn't have to be that way, you know, like, and, you know, I'm trying to get better at training my mindset to get strong to, like, cope with things, you know, like, I don't really know how to really do that, but I'm trying, you know, and that's kind of one thing I've used was this book. I mean, the way I'm talking about this book is not what this book is about. It's like a Jewish mysticism book based on, like, it's got some stuff from the Zohar and like Kabbalah and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's ancient Jewish mysticism from these types of rebbes that used to kind of do these meditative techniques that would transcend them to like see the throne of God and all this kind of, like, it's not the Bible, it's not classic Judaism, it's not Christianity, it's some complete different thing that I don't even know if it's like part of the occult. I don't really know what it is, but I'm like, it's something I can like tap into as far as reading it and understand it and use it. I mean, I'm not saying Chabad is like a perfect culture, but there are things that I like about it, how they do kind of try to focus on like joyous occasions. They have a telethon, I think, every September or August or something, so it should be coming up in 2026 pretty soon. And they have like a lot of performers, and you can donate, and they have like Chabad houses and places that are like shelters. They help black people, they help all kinds of people. Like, they're, you know, I've seen what they've done for like holy days and stuff. A lot of people in these cultures, you know, they make I really like the generosity in Judaism in general, like the giving, the focus on, you know, the mitzvah of like, you know, charity and giving. I do somewhat maybe believe that there is something to charity and giving, and I've grown up in church, and I did realize that at times when I was faithfully tithing in my life and giving money, you know, those were probably some of the easiest financial years of my life. Now, I'm not saying people need to give to the church, or people, you know, I'm not really like trying to tell people what to do. I'm just saying, like, there are some types of things that are deeper than just like, I wake up, I go to work, I eat this meal. You know, there are some other things. Like, people talk about manifesting. That's something that I think a lot of people can gravitate towards. People can kind of like, oh, you are manifesting this, you know. People talk about what they manifest. A lot of times people can like gravitate towards that, and they're talking about how they're manifesting. And in today's culture, where, spirituality or spiritual spaces have like failed a lot of society with a lot of the toxic qualities that come with them, and the leadership problems and the manipulation and the abuse. A lot of times people are like, people are in a point right now, especially since the pandemic, where they're reevaluating a lot of things about their life. And, churches, different places, they're going to suffer. Like, if they're not, like, on board with, like, serving humanity and actually not just trying to fill the pews for their own, like, grandiosity of, like, getting money into the church so that, your pastor can buy a new Beamer or whatever. It's like, when people aren't feeling like spiritually fed, they're not really gonna really like that kind of stuff lately, I don't think. But all that aside, I do find that, I do feel a little bit better, kind of gravitating towards some type of ancient thought. There's something about it that's like, okay, take me out of, working a job that's AI, working a job with some like really high-strung situations and people who are kind of like backstabbing and people who are quitting and getting fired and all this kind of negativity around me. We had a lot of good laughs yesterday. I had a really good day at work yesterday. It was really fun. Like, it was tiring. I'm tired. I'm feeling like the schedule's weighing on me. But I heard about one of my work partners' schedules, how they get up at like 8 a.m. or something and like go to the coffee shop and they stay there till they go to work. And I'm like, I don't know what they're doing at the coffee shop. I'm like, that's cool. It's productive. So it's like, I'm working with people that don't just like sleep all day. I'm working with people who practice different types of dieting, people who practice different types of workouts. One dude was saying he made like this peptide company, like entrepreneurial people, like people that I'm like, wow, like, I really like talking to them and like seeing where people have been and how they got where they're at now and like their goals and the stuff that people do outside of work. Like, I guess the things I don't like to talk about maybe the most, because it kind of takes people down these rabbit holes of like talking about sports and video games. It's kind of like the two topics where I'm like, like once we start talking about that, I'm not like, it's not that deep, so I'm not really into it. I'm like, okay, like, I don't really want to talk to people about sports and video games, but, because that's kind of like the zone out stuff, I want to talk about people, like, actively, like, what are they doing to, like, improve the quality of their life, and just, like, how they spend their time, and just kind of pulling from different things that I hear around me that I'm like, okay, like, other people are having a different schedule. How are they managing all this? How is it going for them? What do I see working for other people? What do I see not working for other people? And people just knowing how to talk, knowing how to not really gossip about management. I was reminding people yesterday, like, hey, there's mics and cams over this place, so just be careful what you're saying. Like, don't mention names, like, don't say anything that's gonna like get you into some specific troubles, because if they know when you touch your phone, they can see you. People getting fired over touching their phone, it's like they can see what you're doing. Somebody's observing. You're not allowed to do that. So it's like, yeah, they can see us, they can hear us, and don't do or say anything that's going to get you into trouble, And one hard thing about being in an environment where it can be tense, the first thing you want to do is vent and complain, and like, but I'm like, these people aren't my friends necessarily, they're coworkers. I got to keep it professional. I don't really know them like that. I already came into the work site the other day with a bunch of rumors about me, and I'm like, okay, like, rumors from a boss, mind you. It's like, yeah, it's not, it's not the type of place where people don't talk crap. So, and it's not even below management to talk crap. So you got to really watch out for number one. But that's kind of how I'm doing. I'm going to keep this one short because I want to record something for another space. But, yeah, that's kind of how I'm doing. I'm feeling quite a bit better Still, obviously, not fully over this cold, but, you know, it doesn't feel like it's getting worse. I do have, like, coughing spells here and there. Dry throat, everything. But I'm trying to, like, manage all of this still. And I feel okay. So, yeah. Alright, that's it for now. Thanks for listening.